Imagine spending 3 days trapped inside a steel coffin that never stops moving. Russia's T-90M isn't just built to fight. Sometimes its crew must live inside it for days, enduring conditions few imagine. The T-90M Proryv is the latest evolution of Russia's long-running T-90 series, designed to survive on today's battlefield while delivering heavy firepower. Weighing around 48 tons, it's armed with a powerful 125mm smoothbore cannon, driven by a 1,130 horsepower diesel engine, and protected by advanced composite armor, explosive reactive armor, and modern defensive systems. That's why many consider it Russia's premier operational main battle tank. But here's the thing. This story isn't really about what happens outside the armor. It's about what happens inside it. Because once those hatches close and the mission begins, 3 crew members aren't just operating one of Russia's most dangerous tanks. They're trying to survive inside a machine that was built for war, not for comfort. Unlike many Western tanks, the T-90M carries only 3 crew members. The commander sits high inside the turret, watching the battlefield through optics while directing the entire vehicle. Just below him is the gunner, whose eyes stay locked on thermal sights and targeting systems, ready to fire the instant a threat appears. At the front of the hull, almost lying back beneath thick armor, the driver controls nearly 50 tons of steel through rough terrain with very little visibility. And here's where things become different. There isn't a human loader squeezing massive shells into the gun. The T-90M uses an automatic loading system that feeds ammunition directly into the cannon, allowing Russia to remove one crew position altogether. That saves space, but not much. The remaining crew still works shoulder to shoulder inside a compartment that feels closer to a compact car than a modern fighting vehicle. Step inside a T-90M, and the first thing you'll notice isn't advanced technology. It's how little space actually exists. Nearly every surface is covered by radios, control panels, ammunition components, wiring, optics, or mechanical equipment. The turret wraps tightly around the commander and gunner, while the driver remains isolated in his own narrow compartment toward the front. But here's what many people never realize. The crew isn't surrounded only by electronics. They're also working beside ammunition, hydraulic systems, and critical battlefield equipment every second they're inside. Personal belongings have almost nowhere to go, so only essential gear makes the trip. Modern T-90M upgrades reportedly include small storage areas for dry rations and personal supplies, but they're limited. Every inch inside this tank was designed to improve combat capability, not make life easier. Now, imagine sitting in that cramped space while the engine keeps running for hours. The T-90M's diesel engine sends constant vibration through the hull, and every movement travels straight into the crew's seats. Add the transmission, cooling systems, rotating turret motors, and the endless chatter coming through military radios, and silence simply doesn't exist. The crew relies on internal communication headsets just to hear each other over the mechanical noise. Even then, voices compete with the sound of steel, machinery, and movement all around them. After long missions, that non-stop noise becomes more than just annoying. It slowly wears people down, making concentration harder and adding another layer of fatigue before the battle is even over. But noise is only part of the challenge. Once the hatches close, the tank becomes its own little world. The engine produces heat that spreads through the fighting compartment, while thick armor traps much of it inside. During summer operations, temperatures can climb quickly, forcing crews to manage exhaustion and dehydration while staying focused on their mission. Cold weather creates a different problem. Metal surfaces lose heat fast, and long hours inside can become just as uncomfortable. To protect against nuclear, biological, and chemical threats, the T-90M uses an NBC protection system that seals the crew compartment and circulates filtered air under pressure. Newer versions are also reported to include improved heating and air conditioning systems. Even so, when combat operations stretch for hours or days, the environment inside remains physically demanding, no matter what the weather looks like outside. Eventually, every crew has to eat. But inside a T-90M, mealtime doesn't look anything like a normal break. There is no kitchen, no fold-out table, and certainly no room to stretch out. Crews carry dry military rations, canned food, and bottled water, packed wherever a little storage space can be found before leaving base. Meals happen whenever the mission briefly allows it. One crew member may be watching the surroundings, while another quickly opens a ration and eats right from the package, often without even leaving his seat. Water has to be carefully managed because every bottle matters during extended operations. The longer the mission lasts, the more carefully supplies must be rationed. And just like everything else inside the tank, even something as simple as eating becomes another job that has to fit around the mission, not the other way around. Sleep doesn't arrive because the mission is over. It comes whenever there are a few quiet minutes to spare. Inside the T-90M, crews usually stay in their assigned positions, leaning against armor or control panels for short naps, while another crew member remains fully alert. They rotate rest whenever the tactical situation allows, knowing someone always has to monitor the radio, surroundings, or engine. If the area is secure, they may climb onto the tank to rest in the open air for a short time, but even then, boots stay on, equipment stays close, and everyone is ready to move within seconds if orders suddenly come. And then there's the part almost nobody wants to mention. During long operations, crews can't simply open a hatch whenever they need to. Plastic bottles are commonly used for urination, while waste bags may be kept for anything else until it's finally safe to dispose of them. In such a confined space, hygiene quickly becomes difficult, odors linger, and privacy simply disappears. It's uncomfortable, sometimes embarrassing, and adds another layer of mental stress to an already exhausting mission. Spend enough time inside a tank, and the vehicle almost disappears. What really matters are the two people beside you. Every decision depends on teamwork, so trust isn't optional, it's survival. Of course, arguments happen. Fatigue, hunger, and stress can test anyone's patience. But crews quickly learn to laugh things off because humor becomes one of the easiest ways to deal with the pressure. They share every responsibility, every problem, and every long hour together. Over time, that constant closeness builds a bond that's difficult to explain to anyone who's never lived inside an armored vehicle themselves. But here's where things become even harder. The mission doesn't slow down just because the crew is tired. The driver still has to guide the tank across rough ground without making a costly mistake. The commander continues scanning for threats while managing radio traffic and making rapid decisions. Meanwhile, the gunner must stay focused, ready to engage targets within seconds. Crews rotate tasks whenever possible to reduce fatigue, but someone is always working. After hours of limited sleep, even simple decisions become harder, which is why military training places such a strong focus on managing exhaustion. Surprisingly, the enemy isn't always the greatest threat. Heat exhaustion and dehydration can wear a crew down long before combat begins, especially inside a sealed armored vehicle. Mechanical failures, engine fires, or damaged ammunition storage can turn the tank itself into a dangerous place. Crews also remain alert for harmful fumes if ventilation is affected, while constant stress and lack of sleep slowly chip away at concentration. None of these dangers make headlines, yet every tanker knows they're real. Sometimes, surviving the environment inside the vehicle is almost as challenging as surviving the battlefield outside. So, after everything, the cramped space, the noise, the lack of sleep, you might wonder why anyone would willingly climb back inside. The answer isn't comfort, it's pride. Tank crews trust each other, believe in their training, and develop confidence in the machine they've learned to operate under extreme pressure. That shared hardship creates a sense of brotherhood that few other jobs can match. Over time, the tank becomes more than just a weapon. It's a workplace, a shelter, and sometimes the only thing standing between the crew and the dangers outside. That's a connection many veterans never forget. Surviving inside a T-90M demands far more than knowing how to fire its gun. It takes discipline, endurance, teamwork, and mental strength every single day. Behind every armored vehicle are real people pushing through extreme conditions, proving that sometimes the toughest battle isn't outside the tank. It's living inside it.